We're all too familiar with viral news of cats and dogs rescuing their owners from surefire tragedy. How often do humans play the heroes and end up saving their pet from another wild animal? We're about to find out. Welcome to another episode of Forever Green. Today, we're bringing you 7 times people save their pets from other wild animals. We're talking face-offs with coyotes, kangaroos, and snakes. And if you want to see a man take on a full-sized alligator who snatched his dog, then you'll definitely want to stick through until number 1. Alright, let's get to it. Number 7. Jamaican saves dog from crocodile. Sadly, there are those who use stray dogs to taunt or bait crocodiles or just feed them for sport. This year, a video emerged showing dogs being thrown into crocodile-infested ponds to be attacked by the reptilian creatures. Thankfully, one Jamaican man saw the dogs in need and did his best to lure them out of the pond and away from the alligator.
Come now. Me I try pull you up. Come.
However, the steep slippery surfaces meant to keep crocodiles out of the pond were stopping the dogs who had been thrown in from climbing out of this horrific scene. In an attempt to follow the man's calls and get out as quickly as possible, one of the 2 dogs slipped back into the water, where the crocodile snapped him into his jaws and dragged the poor pup into the water.
Jesus Christ!
In an attempt to save his friend, the other dog kept barking at the crocodile, but the reptilian was long gone. Thank goodness the dog listened to the man's calls not to run after his friend, and eventually made it out of the pond alive. However, his friend was not so fortunate. Number 6. Man saves deer from python. This next clip left the internet divided when a Thai decided to play God and save a deer that was seconds away from being eaten by a snake. The clip shows a snake strangling a deer using a death grip. It seems that the snake is just about done and ready to feast on its prey. However, suddenly a person approaches the showdown and tries to shoo off the snake away with the help of a tree branch. The snake initially defends itself from the intruder and does not let go of the deer. The man then goes for a second attempt using a stick, causing the snake to release its prey and allowing the deer to freely run off. Ever since the video went live, the internet has been divided as to whether the man performed a true act of kindness or whether he wrongly interfered with the laws of nature and should have just let things take their natural course. Some justifiably argue that unlike deer, pythons are carnivorous and that losing prey could well mean the snake's death. Others say the man acted emphatically and should be forgiven. What do you think? Was the man right or wrong? Go ahead, let us know in the comments below. Number 5. Man boxes kangaroo to save dog. It's not uncommon for kangaroos to box one another over mating rights or for sport, but this video shows a man doing something pretty unorthodox. The man and a group of hunters were out in the Australian outback to help a young cancer sufferer fulfill his last wish of catching a 200-pound wild boar when one of their hunting dogs collided with a big buck kangaroo that then held onto the dog and wrestled it down. The owner was horrified and came right to his dog. The guts could easily disembowel a man, but without flinching, the owner put up his fists and quickly changed the kangaroo's mind with a clean punch to the snout. The punch forced the kangaroo to stop and consider the confrontation for a moment, giving the owner and his dog enough time to disengage and distance themselves from the wild animal, which is later seen hopping away unharmed too. The man said he felt no malice to the kangaroo, but had to step in and fix a bad situation before it got worse. He was glad nobody got badly injured. Real quick, before we tell you our next brave animal rescue story, here's a quick challenge for you. If you can leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and turn on the notifications in less than 5 seconds, you will have 10 years of amazing luck. Hurry up and try it. It actually works. Number 4. Dog owners fight off coyote. The Collins dog Rocky was very lucky back in January 2020 because he was already in the jaws of death when his owner saved his life. This wasn't the couple's first coyote attack. In September 2019, a coyote tried to go after Franz, their retired police dog, but Franz was big and intimidating enough to chase the coyote away. However, 4 months later, a coyote scooped little Rocky into its mouth, jumped the fence, and tried to make off with him. When he saw what had happened, owner Jason Collins said Rocky looked like a cotton ball stuck in his mouth. Thankfully, Amy was out with the dogs when the coyote attacked, but they weren't on a leash. In the video, you could see Amy, followed by Jason, running after the thieving coyote. Jason ran after them with a glass he threw next to Coyote, which was enough to scare him into dropping little Rocky. There's no video footage of it, but Jason said he stood between Rocky and the Coyote, making himself as big as possible while giving Rocky enough time to run home for safety. Any dog would be proud to have such brave owners stand up for them. Number 3. Dog freed from Anaconda. This next video shows a dog getting rescued by a couple of bikers after being snatched up by an anaconda. For those of you who don't know, anacondas kill by squeezing their prey until it can no longer breathe, before swallowing it whole. Lucky for the dog, that was not its fate that day. The bikers were reaching into a river for a break and a short drink of water, when one of their dogs was surprised by a 13-foot-long anaconda, which quickly grabbed onto their pup and pulled him into the water. As soon as they heard the screams, they ran over to see what was going on, and found the snake tangled around their dog, and both of them sank into the water. Thankfully, anacondas are non-venomous, so the owner jumped right into the water and by the grace of God managed to locate them underwater and pull them out with the help of his companions. They were later able to release their dog from the snake's deadly embrace, coming away with little more than a bite themselves and without harming the snake in any way. The snake was then released back into its environment, and their lucky dog lived to see another day. Was that a close call, or what? Number 2. Fake dog save? Next up, we have a pretty disturbing rescue that's almost too good to be true. A YouTube video titled "Primitive Man Saves Family Dog from Python Snake" shows a group of pups cornered by a vicious python that's striking at them. While not venomous, large pythons can inflict some pretty serious injuries that often require stitches. The disappointing thing about this video is that the dogs and the python seemed all too conveniently placed out in the wild that it appears to be fake. Add on the fact that there is constant cutting between one camera showing the attack and the other showing the man on his way to the rescue, and this video looks all too cinematic. Although it looks like the whole thing was a setup, the man did manage to save his dogs from what could have well been his own snake. However, the internet was more than displeased with the man, who played around with his animals' lives to create some kind of viral rescue story. Upon further research into his channel, we found even more videos of the man saving his chickens and even their family alligator from the very same python. Not very nice of him at all. Before we reveal number 1, be sure to check out other amazing videos on our channel, and give us a like if you enjoyed this video so far. Tell us in comments which one of these you like the most and why. Number 1. Man saves dog from alligator. Unlike our previous imposter, this brave Florida man did not hesitate to jump into the water to save his dog from a real alligator attack. Village resident Steve Gustafson risked his life to rescue his West Highland Terrier, Bounce, from the jaws of a fiercely hungry alligator. Gustafson didn't think twice when he saw his pup in danger, and wrestled with the gator until he freed him. He said he grabbed the dog's collar to try to pull him back, but just ended up in a tug-of-war match with the gator, who was determined not to let go. So, Steve took things a step further and got about knee-deep into the water and started pounding on the gator's head until he eventually let go of his beloved dog. Unfortunately, once he'd saved his dog, the alligator took a shot at Steve too, who made it out alive but ended up needing a couple of stitches on his hand from the gator's attacks. Now there's a man clearly willing to take some heat to save his beloved pet's life, which is more than we can say for our previous so-called hero. And those were the 7 times people saved their pets from wild animals.
Oh, Mr. Latham.
Did you enjoy these rescue stories? Let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video, you should definitely check out our video on animals that saved people's lives.